The ordinary often masks the precipice, doesn't it? My Thursdays were a symphony of beige until a careless brush of fingers in a grocery store aisle ignited a wildfire in my soul. Welcome to my storytelling corner. This is the story of that spark, of the slow burn threatening to consume everything I thought real. How many of us walk through life, parched for a connection, until temptation offers a single, devastating drop? Before we dive in, subscribe, hit like, and tell me, have you ever yearned for a spark in the mundane? The pale gray of early morning bled through the blinds. My husband, a creature of quiet efficiency, was already a ghost in his routine, the scent of his coffee, a familiar signature. It was domestic comfort, so practiced it hid the hollowness beneath. My own preparations were autopilot: makeup, hair, a safe blouse and skirt. Meetings and emails awaited, yet I felt detached, an actor in a role I no longer understood. A final glance in the mirror offered no answers, only my own inscrutable reflection. The commute was a blur. The office building swallowed the weak sunlight. I navigated the labyrinth, nodding, offering small smiles that never reached my eyes. The routine embraced me, until it happened. Lunch break. Mundane errands, milk, bread. I reached for a jar of capers on an impossibly high shelf. A hand, larger, warmer, appeared above mine. Need a hand with that? The voice was a low, warm caress, laced with amusement. I turned. My boss. His presence felt overwhelmingly large in the narrow aisle, his smile too genuine for the harsh fluorescent light. "Oh, thank you," I managed, stepping back as he lowered the jar into my cart. Our fingers brushed, a brief, innocuous yet shockingly electric contact that sent an unexpected shiver down my spine. I tried to mask it, focusing on my cart, as if it held profound answers. "Didn't expect to run into you here, Eleanor," he said, using my first name, his hand still on the jar, reluctant to break the connection. "You live around here?" "Not far," I replied, my voice steadier than my pulse. "Just picking up essentials." He nodded, his hazel eyes lingering a moment too long. "Well, I won't keep you. See you back at the office." He walked away, leaving an echo. A simple interaction, yet it resonated. A stone dropped into the stagnant waters of my emotionally barren life. What does it mean when an ordinary moment suddenly feels extraordinary? The drive back was a blur, his face an uninvited guest in my mind. The afternoon dragged. Emails, phone calls, a thin veil over my tumultuous thoughts. I kept glancing at his closed office door, half expecting him to emerge to make sense of the fluttering in my chest. He didn't. At 5, I left, slipping back into my life's rhythm as if nothing had changed. But that night, beside my snoring husband, the silence felt heavier. Sleep was elusive. Every time I closed my eyes, his face materialized, his smile, the warmth in his eyes, the way his hand had lingered. I told myself it was nothing. Yet I felt something shift inside me, a subtle crack in my world's surface. I didn't know what it meant, but I was afraid of where it might lead. The next day, the office felt sharper. The world turned up a notch. Fluorescent lights hummed louder, keyboards echoed, whispered conversations felt aimed at me. I moved through tasks, my mind elsewhere, replaying the brush of his hand. A small spark, smoldering beneath my skin. I avoided him most of the morning, head down, eyes on my screen. Responded to emails, reviewed documents, but my gaze drifted to his closed office door. The rational part of me knew it was for the best, but beneath, something primal stirred. A quiet ache, a gnawing incompleteness. When the clock struck 5, the office emptied. People drifted to elevators, their laughter filling the space. I lingered, telling myself I had one last report, the truth.
I didn't want to go home. The thought of my house, the quiet routine, filled me with dread. "Still here, Eleanor." His voice broke the silence.
I jumped, heart thudding. He stood at my cubicle's edge, hands in pockets, expression caught between amusement and concern. "Yeah," I forced a smile. "Just finishing up." He nodded. "I'm heading out myself. Need a ride?" I hesitated. "No," was on my tongue. Instead, I heard myself say, "That would be great. Thank you." What compels these small choices that can so irrevocably alter our lives? We walked to his car in the dimming light, footsteps soft on the garage concrete. His car was immaculate, leather seats cool against my skin. The silence between us was both comfortable and charged. A thin thread pulled taut. He started the engine. Soft jazz filled the space. As we pulled onto the street, the sky opened. Rain splattered the windshield. He switched on the wipers, their rhythmic swish blending with the music. I watched the city blur, the world outside slipping away, leaving just the small cocoon of his car. Traffic slowed. He sighed, fingers tapping the wheel. "Looks like we might be here for a while." I nodded, voice caught, my hands twisted, wedding ring pressing into my skin. I wanted to break the tension, but words felt out of reach. He turned, eyes soft in the dim light. "You okay?" The question hung, simple yet loaded. I nodded, but my expression must have betrayed me. He reached over, his hand brushing mine, fingers warm against my cold skin. Such a small thing, so easy to dismiss, but its weight settled deep in my chest. And then, before I could think, before I could stop myself, I turned toward him, his face so close, expression unreadable. The air shifted, space narrowing. His lips were on mine, soft, searching, hesitant. A kiss not of passion, but of curiosity, a question asked in the storm's quiet. My mind screamed, "Stop! Pull away. Remember your life, your promises." But my body betrayed me, leaning into him, fingers curling into his jacket. His hand moved to my cheek, thumb brushing lightly, and something inside me cracked open, a dam breaking. The moment stretched, each heartbeat a reminder of the line we were crossing. Then it ended. I pulled back, breath in sharp gasps. His eyes searched mine, a mix of concern and something raw, unspoken. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He didn't respond, just sat back, his hand still lingering near mine, a tether to our shattered reality. Outside, rain continued, as if the world hadn't noticed the shift inside that car. When traffic cleared, he drove me home in silence. The warmth of his hand lingered on my skin. I thanked him quietly, voice small. He nodded, expression closed. I watched his taillights disappear. I stood on the porch, cool rain seeping into my clothes. My husband's car was in the driveway. I knew I should go inside, fold myself back into my life, but my feet remained rooted, mind tangled in the memory of a kiss, a doorway to another world. The house greeted me with familiar stillness. My husband was in the living room, TV casting shadows. He offered a tired smile, returned to his show. I mumbled a greeting, slipped into the bathroom. In the mirror, a stranger. Lips swollen, cheeks flushed, eyes holding a secret I wasn't ready to face. I wiped away rain, smudged makeup, evidence of an unraveling life. But I couldn't wash away his touch, his kiss, the hum of possibility. That night, beside my husband's steady breathing, I knew nothing would ever be the same. The days that followed were a delicate balancing act between the familiar and the forbidden. I moved through routines, actions smooth, but beneath, everything felt jagged. The memory of his lips, a quiet hum, coloring every thought. I tried to bury it, but it was like holding back the tide. At the office, I avoided him. Longer routes, head down. Our few interactions were brief, painfully normal. A game of pretense, each glance another thread pulling tight. One afternoon, alone in the break room, coffee pot gurgling, I wrapped my hands around a mug, the warmth doing nothing for the cold knot in my chest. Avoiding him had left me exhausted, a ghost in my own life.
The door swung open. Him. My body tensed.
He moved to the coffee pot, slow, deliberate. I focused on my mug. "Are you avoiding me?" His voice, soft, cut like a knife. I hesitated. "No, just busy." He nodded, pouring coffee, his back to me. Silence stretched. "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable." His words careful. I wanted to believe him. "You didn't." I need some space." He turned, eyes searching. No accusation, only a quiet understanding that made my chest ache. "I get it." "I'll back off." I wanted to thank him. Words slipped away. He left, coffee forgotten. I was alone again. That evening, a storm rolled in, sky darkening early. I stayed late, unfinished work my excuse. The office empty, lights humming, solitude. But the storm had other plans. Rain hammered the windows. When I left, the street was flooded, the parking lot a dark maze, exit blocked, trapped. He found me by the window, hands against the cold glass. "Looks like we're stuck here," he said, voice low. I didn't respond, eyes on the swirling water. His presence, a weight, grounding me. He sat on a desk edge, relaxed. "Ever been in a flood before?" I shook my head. "No, you?" "Once, years ago." "Spent the night in a gym, not a good time." His attempt at lightness fell flat, but I appreciated it. I turned to him. "I didn't mean to make things weird." His expression softened, a small, sad smile. "We're both adults. We made a choice. It doesn't have to define us." "But it does," I said quietly. "It already has." He didn't argue, offered me water. Our fingers brushed, enough to send a ripple. I wanted to pull away, but I was tired of fighting. We talked then, not about us, but everything else. His first job, cleaning pools, my small-town summers by the lake. Our words built a bridge, a fragile path to somewhere softer. When the rain eased, the world a maze of puddles, we stood by the door, the air different, sharp edges worn down. Stepping into the damp night, a sense of loss ached beneath my ribs. He offered a drive home. I declined. I needed the rain, the cool drops, the long walk. He nodded, eyes holding mine a moment too long, then gone, swallowed by mist. I walked home, the city a blur. Rain soaked through, but it felt real, grounding. Each step an echo, a reminder. Still here, still moving, caught between what was and what might be. At my front door I paused. Inside, my husband waited. I breathed cool air, stepped inside. Home's warmth. But beneath, a cold thread lingered, a reminder the flood had only just begun. The days bled into each other, my life a fragile rhythm. Wake, work, home, repeat, the kiss, the storm, that office intimacy, memories under my skin, an uncatchable itch. I tried to focus on my marriage, redirect the coiling energy, but familiarity was my prison. I was just seeing the bars. My husband noticed, his way. No direct questions, but his eyes lingered, his silences stretched. I cooked his favorites, wore dresses he'd complimented. Initiated intimacy, he responded, touch gentle, kisses warm, but it was like holding smoke. Nothing stuck. The warmth I craved slipped away, leaving only the chill of what wasn't. One evening, I tried to change things. A spontaneous dinner, candles, soft music, a dress that once made him look twice, the kitchen filled with rosemary and garlic, table set with our best. A ritual, an offering to gods of second chances. He came home, shoulders slumped, hesitated in the doorway. Surprise, confusion, then caution. What's all this? I smoothed my dress. Thought it might be nice. Just us. He nodded slowly, eyes taking in the room. You didn't need to go to all this trouble. It's not trouble. My voice too bright. We sat, candlelight on his face. He asked about my day. I answered. A careful dance around the silence. I watched him, a stranger. The small lines, his thinning hair, changes unseen, evidence of a life built together, yet I felt miles away. He reached for his glass. I thought of his hand, the thought, a cold shock. I pushed it away, focused on my husband, my constant, exhausting. By dessert, my smile felt brittle. After dinner, on the couch, his arm over my shoulders, fingers tracing lazy circles, TV, a quiet murmur. His hand moved to my neck. I turned, offered a soft kiss. He responded, touch gentle, but a distance remained, a gap unbridgeable. Later, in the bedroom, I went through motions, body moving, mind elsewhere, caught in what-ifs. His hands, a question I couldn't answer. He drifted to sleep, arm a weight across me. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, chest tight with silence. The next morning, I dressed with care. A blouse hugging my figure, a skirt with a subtle slit, heels, makeup, a deliberate mask. For me, I told myself, for confidence. I knew better. I wanted him to notice. At the office, lingering by his door. He looked up, expression softening. No pretense, a relief. He asked me for coffee. Casual, but I heard the undercurrent. In a small cafe corner, his hand on the table, fingers splayed. I wanted to reach out. We talked, work, life, everything but the truth between us. His eyes held mine, expression open. The ache in my chest eased. Leaving, he stood close, hand brushing my back, a steadying touch. I leaned into it just a moment. Walking back, a cool breeze, a flicker of hope. Dangerous, but the first real thing I'd felt in so long. At my desk, fingers on his coffee cup, I knew this story was far from over. I woke with a heaviness, air thick. Last evening tangled in the sheets, husband gone, his side of the bed cool, quite pressed down. Morning routine in a haze, disconnected, reflection a stranger. Makeup, a slow attempt to cover cracks. Clothes chosen to feel seen, if only by me. At the office, restless energy, work, a false stability. His voice, his shadow, the air shifted. Subtle, but my pulse quickened. We hadn't spoken much since the storm. Polite, professional, a wall between us. But walls have cracks. Through them, the quiet thrum of unsaid things. His glances lingered, words soft, a private dialect. That afternoon he appeared at my desk. Do you have a minute? I nodded. Sure. His office, door closing softly. Smaller, air-charged. He stood by the window, silhouetted by fading light. I near the door, handle cool. I wanted to apologize, he said finally, for everything.
Never meant to complicate things. I swallowed. It's not just you. I'm as much a part of this, slow breath. I know, but I need to make sure you're okay. Don't want you to feel pressured or... I don't, I interrupted, voice firmer. It's not that simple. He turned, expression open, vulnerable. Then what is it? Words slipped away. I don't know. I feel like I'm at the edge of something. Don't know if I should step forward or run. He stepped closer. You don't have to decide now. We can just be honest. No expectations. I nodded. His presence filled the room, space narrowing, the pull of him, back against the door, cool metal grounding me. Not enough. He reached out, hand hovering, a silent question. I hesitated, then closed the distance. His fingers curled around mine, warm, steady, world tilted. Thumb brushed my knuckles, tender. I leaned in, his lips met mine, soft, unhurried, no urgency, just quiet exchange of breath, gentle press of skin. Hand to my cheek, touch light. I closed my eyes, world fading, only his warmth, his heartbeat. We pulled away slowly, foreheads touching. I don't want to hurt you, he murmured. You're not, I whispered. I'm already broken. You're just helping me find the pieces. We stood, room holding its breath, hand on my cheek, thumb tracing circles, a quiet promise. I wanted to stay, but reality pressed. Stepping apart, space too wide, I straightened my blouse, his touch lingering. He opened the door, expression professional. I followed. Back at my desk, screen harsh, lights too bright, words blurred. His lips, his hand, a ghost of a touch, a whisper, but it held more weight than I could carry. That evening, walking to my car, sky bruised blue, cool air, sat in the driver's seat, hands on wheel, staring at the dashboard, engines tick a metronome to racing thoughts. Didn't drive home. Parking lot empty, day's wait settling, phone buzzed, husband, mundane message. Guilt, sharp, but beneath something warm, alive, pulling out taillights casting shadows, path ahead anything but clear. But for the first time in so long, the pull of the unknown, the quiet thrill of not knowing where the road might lead. The days that followed were a tightrope walk between two worlds. At home, I played my part. Routines, smiles, touches muted by secrets. At the office, our connection hummed beneath mundane exchanges. He never pushed, but in quiet moments, a spark. I lingered late, telling myself it was work. Truth was, I was waiting for him. One evening, a small box on my desk. Brown paper, white ribbon. Inside, a delicate silver leaf pendant, intricately etched, beautiful, understated, a quiet echo of unsaid things. I wore it the next day, hidden beneath my blouse, a secret tether. His eyes caught it, a quick glance, a slight curve of his lips, unspoken acknowledgement. At home, the pendant stayed hidden. Husband never noticed. He asked once if I was okay. Fine, just tired. His trust, a weight. Dreams tangled with reality, waking, skin warm, breath uneven, feeling his touch in the dark. Reaching out, only my husband, solid, familiar, caught between comfort and ache. The weekend, a reprieve. Husband suggested a day trip, coast, lunch by water, reconnect. I agreed, voice bright, smile wide, insides hollow. Packing, dressing, a performance. Driving in silence, his hand on my thigh, a reminder of chains. Sea air sharp, biting, welcomed. Grounding.
Sat by the water, waves relentless. He talked of the future, trips, house plans, a life stretching before us. I nodded, mind miles away, watched waves erase marks, envied their certainty. My life, shifting sand. That night in the bathroom, my reflection, eyes shadowed, lips a thin line, reached for the pendant, silver leaf catching light. A reminder, cool metal against my skin, a contrast to the heat inside. Back in bed, husband asleep. I slipped beside him, stared at the ceiling. Dark room, rustling sheets. Closed my eyes. His face, not my husband's. The man who gave me the pendant, who filled empty spaces. As sleep pulled me under, necklace await, a secret, delicate, dangerous. Drifting, carried by everything unsaid, unfelt, not ready to let go. The message arrived Wednesday afternoon, an email whisper, seemingly mundane. Opened it. Cold weight in my chest. I know about you and him. 6 words, a noose. Fingers tightened on the mouse. Room blurred, office hum fading. Read it again. Unyielding. A quiet threat. Anonymous, breathe. Mind raced. Who? How? Walls closed in, colleagues' glances, accusations. Closed the email, slow, deliberate, ice over panic. Moved through the day in a fog, every sound amplified, exposed, raw. Stayed at my desk, office emptying. Wanted to reply, demand answers, fear held me. Who was watching? A soft knock, him. Expression open, presence, a balm. You okay? Just a long day. He stepped inside, closing the door, comfort. You seem off. I'm fine. Voice wavered, eyes narrowed. Moved closer, hand brushing mine as he leaned against the desk. Grounding. You can talk to me, whatever it is. Wanted to tell him. Show him the email, share the fear, couldn't. Risk too great. Forced a smile. It's nothing. Just tired. He didn't push. I both loved and hated that. Needed him to see through me. He stood to leave. Almost stopped him. Words died. Stayed late. Office dark. Empty. Opened the email again. Cursor hovered over delete. Couldn't. Flagged it. A secret within a secret. Screen glowed, words etched. Walked to my car, cool air, mind a whirl. Phone buzzed, new message, breath caught. Colleague meeting reminder. Relief, sharp, sudden. Drive home, a blur. Hands gripped wheel, knuckles white. Pendant, a cool weight. Reminder of what I had to lose. House dark, husband working late. Emptiness, a comfort, a warning. Sat on porch steps, night wrapping around me. Needed to think, find a way forward. The email, a door, truth slipping through. Who stood on the other side? Hours passed. Husband's car. Forced myself to stand, slipped back into my role. Kissed my cheek. Held on too long, his arms a comfort, a cage. Inside, door closing, secrets wait, emails shadow, fragile balance crumbling. Quiet house, ticking clock, counting down to when everything would break. The days dragged, oppressive, anonymous message, a constant pressure. Routines, autopilot, thoughts swirling. Every new email, a jolt, hands trembling. No follow-up. Silence deepened fear. Husband noticed, watched with quiet concern, brow furrowed. Okay? Soft voice, gentle touch. Lied with practiced ease, work, Stress. He nodded, accepting, gaze lingering. One evening, washing dishes, his arms around my waist, warm, familiar, leaned in a moment's comfort. Distance. Opposite sides of a chasm, fingers brushing, never connecting. "Let's go away this weekend," he murmured. Just us. No work, no phones. We could use a break. First instinct, no. Exhaustion in his voice, quiet plea, paused, nodded. Yes, I'd like that. Relief palpable, kissed my cheek. Closed my eyes, willing myself to feel something beyond cold secrets. Left Saturday morning, small BB by the lake, quaint wildflowers. Cool air, gray sky, fleeting hope, a way back to him, to us. Walked by water, feet sinking in damp earth. Quiet hum of nature, reached for my hand, fingers intertwining, for a moment pulled into his rhythm. Talked of nothing, everything, easy, but beneath the current pulled, a reminder of truth. Dinner, candlelight, wine. He told work stories, anecdotes, nodded along, responses hollow. Wanted to be present, the me he deserved. Mind wandered, tangled in that email. Returned to our room, bed large, inviting. Pulled me close, touched gentle, hands tender, tears. Wanted to lose myself in him, let his love wash away shadows. Body moved through motions, mind distant. Whispered my name, voice thick. Bit my lip, holding back a sob. He fell asleep, breathing deep, steady. Lay beside him, back to his warmth, eyes on ceiling. Room too quiet, silence pressing. Slipped from bed, floor cool. Window. Lake, dark ink under moonlight, surface still. Phone on nightstand, screen dark. Picked it up, fingers brushing glass. Opened email, message still there, hidden, words waiting, read it again. Threat familiar, a shroud. Hoped distance, time away, might dull fear's edge. Remain sharp, a knife. Closed phone, screen black. Reflection stared back, a woman barely recognized. Ache in chest swelled. Pressed palm against glass, coolness grounding. Wanted to run, nowhere to go. Returned to bed, husband shifted, arm draping, pulling me close. Warmth, a comfort that deepened the emptiness. Lay still, breath shallow, curled into myself. Waited for morning, gray light, a promise of another day. The same, first rays slipped through. Knew something had to break, tension, secrets unraveling life, couldn't go on. Truth, lie, or me, something had to give. Wrapped in arms of a man still believing I was his, I felt truth's edge cut, sharp, undeniable. The morning light, a pale wash, softened edges, a quiet dreamscape. Lay still, husband's arm over me, breath warm, his embrace, a comfort, a shackle. Slipped from bed carefully. Hand slid from my waist, fingers brushing sheets. He didn't wake. Bathroom, door closing softly, a fragile barrier. Mirror reflected a me I barely knew. Hair tousled, eyes shadowed, lips a thin line, reached up, fingers grazing the pendant, cool metal against warm skin, silver leaf, delicate, intricate, a talisman, a secret, a reminder of another life. Held it, chain biting, feeling the weight of choices, lies, moments closer to the edge, stepped back into the room, husband awakes, eyes half closed, lazy smile. "Morning," he mumbled. "Morning?" Distant, a hollow echo. moved through motions, dressing, hair, packing. Hands steady, insides trembling. Breakfast on the BB porch, world wrapped in misty gray. Lake still, glassy, reflecting the sky. Husband talked of plans, voice a gentle hum, barely heard. Mind drifted over possibilities, paths my life might take. Drive back, head against window, cool glass a bomb. World rushed by, green and gray, a strange detachment, watching myself from afar. Husband's hand on my thigh, gentle, absent-minded, once warm, now a reminder of chains. Home, house smaller, walls closer, air heavier. Unpacked, a ghost moving through rooms. Husband in routines, TV casting soft light, sports announcer filling silence. Kitchen, hands gripping counter, breath short. Then, as if pulled by an invisible string, reached for my phone. Screen glowed, a portal to the world beyond, to the life built in shadows. Opened email, fingers practiced. There it was, the message. I know about you and him. Stared at the words, letting them seep in, cold, sharp. A threat, a promise, a window into truth avoided. In that moment, knew the only way forward was through fear, guilt, the tangled mess of my making. Had to face it, let truth unravel, no matter where it led. Moved to the living room, phone clutched, pulse thundering. Husband looked up, expression soft, a question in his eyes. Everything okay? Opened my mouth, words stuck, weight pressed, breaking me. We need to talk. Smile faded, posture shifted, tension threading through him. About what? Sat down, cushion sagging. Room too small, air too thick. About us, about what I've done. He didn't speak, didn't move. Change in his eyes, slow unraveling of understanding, told him everything. Words rushed, raw, unpolished. The kiss, stolen moments, the email, the weight of the lie. Sat still, hands folded, knuckles white. Breathing steady, too steady, a forced control, scarier than shouts. Finished. Silence fell, a shroud. He stood, slow, deliberate, turned away, back a wall. I need some time, he said finally, voice low, every syllable precise. I need to think. Nodded, he didn't see, moved down the hall, soft steps, nails in our coffin. Sat alone, room awash of shadows, phone dark, truth between us, raw, exposed. Nothing would ever be the same. That night, slept on the couch, cushions hard, blanket a poor shield. Drifted in and out of sleep, dreams a tangled mess, echoes of a broken life. Morning, sharp light piercing curtains. Husband gone, keys missing, jacket no longer on the chair. Sat up, blanket pooling, house heavy with silence. Didn't know where he'd gone, if he'd return. But this was the first step, first crack, first breath in a stifling room. Stood, pendant against my skin, cool reminder. Didn't know where to go, what to do. But for the first time, truth's weight felt lighter. Stepped into morning light, world still turning, air still sharp. Knew whatever came next, it would be real. It would be mine. This precipice of truth, this terrifying liberation. What comes after the confession? Is there healing in the wreckage, or just more pain? This channel will continue to explore these raw human experiences. Your engagement fuels our stories. Subscribe, like, and share your wisdom or your questions in the comments below.